And now to get into today's show proper, a viral video has garnered reactions, angry reactions from Nigerians about how a youth corps member was treated. Now, members of a vigilante group in Anambra State visited the NYSC camp on the 23rd of July 2025, accusing them of being internet fraudsters, otherwise known as Yahoo Yahoo. And in this video that will enrage you, I must warn you that the video would thoroughly enrage you. You could see the NYSC corps member pleading and begging, and against all odds, or against her cries, or on the backdrop of her tears, these people kept beating, hitting, and finally stripped her naked.
So viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, viewer discretion is advised. Let's take a look at this video. Right, now that video was taken, the assault occurred on 23rd of July, like I mentioned, in the town of Oba in Anambra State, and the name of the young woman is Edema Eloho Jennifer. She was physically assaulted, had her clothes torn, and was stripped. And this was done by operatives of Agune Chamber, the vigilante arm in Anambra State. I beg your pardon. This has come, it's such a sour taste. It puts such a sour taste in the mouth because, again, it asks, really, young people safe. How do we send people to go and serve? NYSC corps members that are supposed to be under government protection are being assaulted by these people who are there potentially to protect the lives and the security of citizens. Anambra State PPRO has criticized this. The state has acted swiftly. They've informed us that the culprits have been picked up, detained, and that investigation is ongoing. So let's take a look at the video of the PPRO speaking about it.
Police Command is aware of a trending video of where a corps member was assaulted in Oba community of Idemili South local government. We wish to condemn this act and say it's totally unacceptable and very, very unprofessional of the vigilante operatives. However, the command wants to state some facts clear that this video is not a recent development of the command. It happened sometime last month, and I am aware that there has been investigative proceedings that have been going on in that regard. The command also wished to state that the unavailability of the victim have further stalled the investigative proceedings, because I personally have contact with her, but she said that as soon as she comes into the state, that she will come to the command. While we are waiting for her to come forward to assist us in some of the facts that are clear, I wish to also let the members of the public know that the suspects involved in this particular unprofessional and condemnable acts has been identified. And we are also working with the vigilante, leadership of the vigilante group to make sure that we get justice for this victim. Having said that, I wish to also acknowledge the fact that these vigilante operatives have assisted us in making sure that the stability of the security in the state has been very, very formidable. Let me state another fundamental fact that is very key to this. The Commissioner of Police, in the person of CP Ikoyi Orutugu, when he took over as the Commissioner of Police, noted the fact that these vigilante members needed to be trained. And he wrote to the Inspector General of Police, and the Inspector General of Police graciously approved this training and reorientation for these vigilante members. And they were trained. And we are also working with the stakeholders, the leadership of these vigilante members, to make sure that we get justice for these corps member. And we wish to also state that assault of any kind is a criminal offense, and the command will not condone it, and we condemn it and make sure that this incident does not happen again. As the operations of the vigilante members are now embellished, we're working with the security operatives in the state to make sure that such incident doesn't happen again.
I mean, I'm at a loss for words, and I think the Anambra State Police Command can do better than just telling us. We need evidence. You need to show that these culprits are being apprehended.
But how would they show evidence? Are they going to show you the person in prison?
Don't they? When they arrest and detain people, you can blur their faces, but let's know that yes, these people. Okay, name names. Let's know that it's not faceless,
that's a better
or
one.
you're not just telling us that you are top of the situation. And again, this brings to the conversation of state policing, why people say, we're not ready. These are people that are supposedly trained by the Nigerian police, and look at their behavior. Look at what they are exhibiting. I mean, you don't even need training as a right-thinking human being. In what world is it right to assault and strip another human being of their dignity?
All right.
It's not right.
And I'm glad that you mentioned it. When I saw that video, so many things come to mind. First of all, if we look at the security outfit that carried out this dastardly act, the Agunate Chamber vigilantes, the reason for the vigilante is because of the gaps in the policing, right, in the state policing, the fact that there's not enough, there are inadequate inadequate police officers to guarantee the security and the safety of the citizens in Anambra State. So, of course, the vigilantes came up to fill in that gap. However, if we must have vigilantes filling in the gap in the gaps created in the state police, what we should ensure is that they are thoroughly trained, not just thoroughly trained, that their details are captured, their biometrics, so that these people don't roam around anonymously. If not, if they're not thoroughly trained and captured, anybody can wake up tomorrow and say they are part of Agunate Chamber, they are part of the vigilante group securing the society. That way, when one or two of them commit an offense or a crime, we're easily able to track who did it, and they're not shrouded in anonymity. That's one. Two, it talks about, again, the security and safety framework for NYSC officials. How do we send our young people to go and serve their nation? They're already in vulnerable places. The fact that a number of them are serving in places that they don't know, they cannot call home. Some of them are serving in states that they have never been to, that their first time visiting the state is because of the NYSC service. So if we cannot guarantee their safety, then there's a fundamental flaw. We've seen NYSC officials, NYSC corps members being the victims or at the bottom of insecurity during elections, and now in this situation where they were alleged to be fraudsters. So we must strengthen frameworks to protect NYSC corps members. The NYSC officials must work with the state police, with the government, and with the vigilantes to ensure that they can guarantee the safety and the security of NYSC officials. And then there should be hotlines when things like this. This happened on the 23rd of July. Today is what? Today is 20th of August, almost 1 month later, and we're still on this matter. So there should be ways in which we have we have toll-free lines, hotlines that they can call when they're in distress, and there should be speedy adjudication of the matter. Have a magistrate court, bring it before a court as quickly as possible, make the person, take the charge, and then we can speed up the matter. Although I must reference what the PPRO said, that the victim unfortunately has not been around, and as a result that has stalled the case. So I think that's what I would say, but it's really sad. That's a very, very depraved way. Even if you say that they are fraudsters, there are ways to handle it. I mean, vigilante's responsibility is to arrest and hand over to the police.
It boils down to the question, which, when I saw the entire thing, and I said to myself, in the current Nigerian insecurity state, whereby the country is battling with cases of insecurity, and we are now churning out paramilitary organizations, especially in different states, when the state security operatives are overwhelmed.
Gaps. Yeah.
So you try as much as possible to fill the gaps. And that has been happening in time memorial. Not bad. But we do also recall that in the Southeast, there's a serious case of insecurity, especially perpetrated by even members of the Southeast. So now you have Agunate Chamber. You have one of them. And you also have, one of them, Ibugagu, and so on. These are all paramilitary, bodies.
Vigilantes.
However, my question is, while we're churning out these things, did we set boundaries?
Are they properly trained?
Yes, exactly. And it's what we've also talked about on this show many times.
The danger of state policing.
The dangers of state policing. There should be boundaries for every single security operatives. And we have it already in our constitution. It's there. Every country has it. You have the Navy. Of course, you know where the Navy operates. You would never see the Navy come and start arresting people for cybercrime. We shouldn't expect to see that. The moment you see that, we know that there's a problem.
And then you arrest and prosecution.
Exactly.
I mean, that's jungle justice.
That's barbaric.
There's also the situation of the fact that when they set up Agune Chamber, the question is, the first time, the moment I saw that video, I asked myself, I said, what were the boundaries that was given to this paramilitary body? Because what they did now was to become judge, jury, they castigated the individual, did all sorts in one particular
and the PPRO
suite.
he also said they were trained by the police, apparently.
So it's a gap within the police again. They didn't
get
do
the
a
proper
job.
training. Exactly. How long? Did they do a vetting process
And
to
if you
the
check-
members? Did they do a background
And
check?
if you check online, you will see that there have been repeated
So many
complaints
cases.
about how
Human rights
they've acted,
violations, yeah.
how they carry out their processes, and so on. We understand that you need to read the state of insecurity, but then again,
There are
you
ways
must
to
not
go about
remove human rights. Everybody
Exactly.
has
There's
rights.
civilized
When it's
Yeah.
not that
There's
his bad,
this-
we're talking
You
about.
there's a-
understand?
Norwegian neo-Nazi Anders Breivik in 2011 in the island of Utoya in Norway. He killed over 70 people. When he was arrested, not one single blow on his body. He was cuffed and arrested.
That's how
been
it's done in
sentenced to life
civilized
prison.
countries.
Exactly.
And then
You
again,
don't-
you don't just...
you beat animals. That's what you do.
Thank you. And Nigerians are not animals. And I also have another worry. This incident happened in July.
20%.
Why the delay? Why now?
So that's again.
And that's where I'm going to commend the PPRO. Well done, police public relations officer Mr. Tochukwu. However, the problem is, why did you stay that long? Is it because the video had just leaked online? So therefore, let's quickly come out and tell Nigerians that we are aware of it. And this is what we see. And I keep saying that's why I would continue to give props to the police officers who come out to speak on time about incidences and tell Nigerians how they are handling it. It's not a case of trying to prove that Nami Sabi walk past. No, it's just a professional thing to do. If you go to New York, you go to other countries, you will see how the police officers will call for press conferences
State
and
commands
then
have
explain.
like weekly press briefings.
Absolutely.
Where journalists.
Absolutely.
I think Lagos
Yes.
State does that. Ask questions about ongoing
Yes.
cases and things like that.
But the truth is, I understand that they may not be able to give press releases about every case, but I agree that this particular case, especially because Agune Chamber is supposed to fill in that gap that exists in the police, right, in the police force in Anambra State. They're sort of helping with insecurity. So yes, they should have given a brief. And what, unfortunately, if this is not decided upon quickly, if the perpetrators and the culprits are not made to face the law quickly, we're setting a precedent that will say that it's okay for this to happen, and it will happen again to another NYC corps member or another regular Nigerian in Anambra State, and nothing will happen.
You know the saddest thing about this that just happened? First of all, we like the fact that the police has eventually come out. We wouldn't want to hinge it on the fact that maybe because the video went viral, so they had to quickly put out a statement.
But that's why.
That's what I'm saying. That
Because if it
that
happened
is
in
what
July-
it looks.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what
that's what it is.
But we're just going to say we don't want to hinge it only on that fact. We want to believe in a statement that he made that you're already on the case. However, the victim, they've not been able to. She's hoping to
As
come
the
back into the
culprits have
state
been
and so on and
apprehended,
so
yeah.
forth. And we hope, and let's state it here, that one thing we'll continue to do here on Breakfast Central is to put a mark on stories like this and continue to churn out reminders as quickly as possible.
All right.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. But before we move on again, I just also want to highlight that while that lady, I want to say something here, and it's very key. While that lady was brutalized in that manner, I am shocked to my bone marrow that the NYSC did not put out a statement. That woman that
I think
called that other
NYSC
girl.
actually criticized it. I will
when?
double check. Maybe we
When?
should check other responses
When
and then
did
I'll
she
double
call?
check.
Did she call that? Did she find out? Did they do that? Did they follow due process? Why am I saying this?
No protection.
When someone complained about the economy, there was a speedy action. When someone was brutalized,
Silent.
I'm shocked that I'm sure that most of us never knew about this story until it was published just
obviously.
yesterday.
Yes.
Why? But when someone complained about the economy, even the so-called the body itself was so quick to call and say, "Hey, don't do that. Put out a press statement." Why didn't you, protecting core members, put out a statement too? It doesn't make you weak or doesn't make you look like you're an antagonist.
I mean, they're probably like us, and maybe they're just knowing about this video because it went out, and it would be nice to see.
Well,
NYSC
it's reported that the management of the NYSC on Tuesday condemned the assault of a core member in Oba, Idemili South local government area of Anambra State, describing the incident as both unwarranted
which Tuesday
and
now?
unacceptable. It would seem that Tuesday is yesterday's Tuesday.
I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that when it happened in July,
it's beyond statements, they need to put in protection mechanisms, like the suggestions Olive made earlier.
We have Nigeria divided. We have two. We have Niger. I keep saying it, and we have Ria. There are people who are untouchable. There are people who the law works for. There are people who everything. But the Rias are people who nothing concern us, concern you. If anything happens, it happens.
Some very big influential figures have reacted to this. Let's take some of the reactions on X.
Peter Obiver says, a cry for justice against barbarism in Anambra. I just read from, of course, he puts the newspaper there, and then he says, with deep concern about the inhumane treatment meted out to a young lady in Anambra State. As an Anambrian, myself, I feel not only ashamed, but also deeply heartbroken that such cruelty could happen in 2025 in a society that ought to have advanced beyond such barbarous acts. I strongly condemn this act of primitive wickedness and savagery. No society should ever tolerate the abuse, humiliation, and dehumanization of its citizens, least of all the vulnerable and women. What happened is not only a violation of law and morality, but also a direct assault on our collective humanity. The young girl could have been anyone's daughter, sister, or even mine. We must awaken our conscience and work collectively to build a society where justice is swift, compassion is active, and the dignity of every human being, especially the young and vulnerable, is inviolable. To do anything less is to endanger the very fabric of civilization. And then he goes ahead to say he calls on relevant authorities to ensure that those responsible are not only apprehended and prosecuted, but also made examples to deter future acts of savagery. More than that, let this tragedy compel us to institute stronger safeguards, policies, and communal values that protect the weak and restrain the powerful. Our humanity must always come first. Without it, we are nothing but a people adrift in cruelty. Let's see if we have other reactions as well from, other persons. Omoyele Showore speaks. He says, I strongly condemn the brutalization of a youth couple by the governor, Charles Soludo's Agulu Chamber Vigilante Group in Oba, Anambra State. This barbaric act is unacceptable and must not be swept under the carpet. Even when the individuals responsible for the violence have been identified and apprehended, they must also be brought to trial immediately through the impartial judicial process. Our official NYSC Youth Corps members are serving Nigeria. They must never be subjected to intimidation as was done to Rare. Okay. Humiliation and sexual violence is seen in the horrific Anambra Vigilante video. Vigilante groups cannot be allowed to operate above the law or brutalize innocent citizens with impunity. Another one says, as Finding Solace says, now, wow, what kind of country is this? Every day I see reasons to side with Kemi. So stripping women of their clothes is now the new method of arresting them. That's really a question that everyone should ask. And I agree with you, Finding Solace. It's very pathetic.
Leave
it's
Kemi
sad.
out of this. Kemi is...
Veronica_TON, this is wickedness in its highest form. How can a so-called vigilante group brutalize and strip a young lady naked in public? This is not security. It is pure barbarism and abuse of power. Most of our problems in this country are the people. Just imagine vigilante.
Again, all right, Vivian has said, I'm from Anambra State, and Peter Obi was the last good governor we had. During this tenure, we never had any insecurity issues. I'm forever grateful. Okay.
Well, to be honest, okay, Ruth, you've been dancing with your son on TikTok. Yeah, terrible things are going on in your state. Okay, Ruth, you do have but Ruth is all the way from, I think, Canada, if I'm right. Blood of Jesus. This one says, a whole core member was treated like this by people who I am sure barely have WAEC. Facts.
Upon facts.
I need to scream that out. The governor, imagine the dregs of society that you employ to be security men, able-bodied men, assaulting a defenseless crew member.
It's just...
I spit... Oh,
it's
come on.
Terrible.
This is... I know how pained you are, psychings, but I mean, let's just be mindful of our...
Is it your spit?
No, it's a statement,
now?
but I mean, it's one statement I don't appreciate, by the way.
And then I also want to tell you that when you see a flag on a Twitter handle, sometimes it's aspirational.
I know.
It doesn't mean
I agree with you, my brother.
It's a dream to be a Canadian
it's a dream
someday.
to be Canada. But in all aspects,
I'm waiting for Olive to put Union Jack UK flag to join Kemi in the future, our sister.
Hopefully. but in all aspects, in clarity, what we saw, I mean, we have images of these individuals, and I think the police officer, the PPRO said that they've apprehended the team, they have the team, and so on and so forth.
It's painting that these pictures are not
it's a bit blurry, but you know, okay. You should be able to identify that. And you know, the thing is, I'm certain. I mean, if you talk to the police officers, once you identify one,
of course,
you can identify the rest.
They operate in that urban area, so it's just who are the people on duty.
People's love of my life, and somebody's
their mode of
best father in
dressing.
the world.
I mean, it's just
that's another thing. And again, you see,
what's the difference between these people and criminals now?
When you give reins to individuals who are uncultured,
to dregs of
and
society,
you give them power, I think that we should use that word, to dregs of the society. This is what you get. And the funny thing we are starting to ignore as Nigerians and as a nation is that we think this is only happening to the lower level of society. It will get up, it will climb, because that's what impunity eventually does. It climbs up. Go and check other countries. If you don't
make examples of those people,
it will come up.
Sadly, this is going to
and that takes us to NCAA. Now they've come out and they've told the Minister of Aviation that, we know you're giving your verdict, but hold on, we want to carry out our own investigation. So they've invited Emerson. They've told her to come in for an investigative process. She's been called. Also, others have been called. And then they put the law. I think probably they watched the interview yesterday.
You must turn off your phone.
Going forward now, turn off your phones.
Nothing like flight
mode again. Nothing like airplane mode.
As long as you're in Nigerian airspace, please.
But once I leave the Nigerian airspace but to be honest, a number of times, like our interview yesterday highlighted, it's typically when you take off and you land.
Those are the two important,
you turn off your phone, but mid-flight you can use your phone. But let's not take it.
How many local flights have Wi-Fi?
No, they don't have Wi-Fi. Forget it. So, maybe except they're flying private.
Exactly.
But just to wrap this up, to say that we'll continue to follow up with this. We're holding Anambra State government to account, holding the police in Anambra State to command, the PPRO of the Nigerian police, and to also just say that our heart goes out to the head
of Agunecheba in Anambra State.
And to say that our heart goes out to this young woman who unfortunately has been treated poorly, just to double check her name, to make sure that, she gets justice, whatever justice will look like for her. Justice might mean that they will get fines, they will be sanctioned, but I don't know what justice will ever feel like justice enough for how she was treated, degraded, dehumanized, stripped of her dignity, and posted on social media.
Terrible.
It's really sad.
Terrible.
Okay, let's now move on to, I don't know if we have time for our next conversation.
Yeah, we can just touch on it briefly because it's a matter of public concern.
Yeah.
And if you've been an avid follower of social media in Nigeria, you'll be familiar with the statement. State company. I mean, not to make light of the situation.
I was thinking you wouldn't do it.
These are very
you pulled it
But you have to pull your head back when you're doing it. You can't do it.
These are very serious allegations. I mean, Scott Iguma has been an advocate for many Nigerians that have bought land and properties from PWAN Real Estate and they haven't received them. And the allegations is that they're selling receipts and they're not seeing
the landed properties.
The land properties or the land. And it's been a back and forth between Scott Iguma, the police, EFCC, and now the House of Reps has summoned all of them over this alleged fraud.
Now, bear in mind that Scott Iguma was arrested and detained in police for a number of days. And after his detention, when he was finally released from prison, he alleged again that he and his loved ones are being threatened by certain individuals. So now they're asking, with all these claims, the strong evidence that court seems to have, he has pulled together witnesses from a number of Nigerians, over 200 Nigerians that had sent to him receipts of how they, and petitions of how they had bought properties from PWAN Real Estate Company and had never gotten to see their property. And now the House of Rep has summoned EFCC chairman to come and explain why this has not been investigated, why they have not yet invited PWAN Real Estate Company.
Well, don't forget too that Scott had initially paid a visit to members of the House of Representatives. I think it was in Abuja some weeks back, where he had met with them, especially with the committee that deals on housing and so on. And I think that's a good step in the right direction. However, my concern with all these back and forth concerning what an individual has taken up to do is that we do have organizations that are supposed to, they are regulatory bodies that are supposed to be doing the job.
I mean, we spoke to the EFCC spokesperson. That said the file is on the table. So that brings to us another question of undue influence by the National Assembly. I mean, shouldn't they wait for the investigative process to finish to run?
You know why they will not wait? Because the EFCC is typically that law enforcement agency that once they've gotten into the arena, they want to announce. It's their MO typically to announce, oh, we arrested this person, or we have invited this person.
Not follow through.
Do you understand? So it's typically their MO to announce their procedures. So when they're wondering, why haven't you announced this?
You just mentioned only one. The EFCC. I'm not even concerned about the EFCC. I think the EFCC,
ICPC,
I'm not even concerned about that as well. I'm talking about the Security Exchange Commission. That's the number one body that I'm worried about.
Because you're taking over.
Because by now, exactly, they ought to have seen when this young man was shouting and when he was having a lot of documents as proof, where people had written and stated receipts, proof, and so on. The SEC, though, did one thing only, which I would commend them for. They said these are the names of organizations that have Ponzi scheme-like. They're Ponzi scheme-like organizations. And when they mentioned it, guess who was listed there? PWAN Real Estate Company was listed there. And at that point, I was thinking that is the time where EFCC need not wait. Swoop in immediately, straight to action. And guess what? You had one man who has done the job for you already.
They also need to investigate the way Scott was manhandled in police detention. And I trust him. He's a very vocal person, and he will listen.
Gbenga, he released a video, a voice. We've not heard anything from the police on that. Sometimes we just want to use this medium to speak to the Nigerian police as well. We appreciate you as the Nigerian police officers that you are. But we also want to use this medium to beg you that please do not erode public trust and confidence in the police. Because the way you do that is how you react to things that are happening within the society or within the organization in which you run.
I think I'm going to
if someone has done something like this, has gone ahead to release, what we expect from the police is possibly just follow up with a press release, a video, and let's see you go into
acknowledge
action.
That, look, we have gaps in the system, we're working
Guess
on
what?
it and this.
But if the result ends up to be good and positive, who gets the accolades?
The police.
The police.
So when you say do not erode public trust, I think it's more of rebuild public trust.
Exactly, because that trust
I don't think that trust is there. Because almost in every situation when you hear this, the reaction of many Nigerians would be, it's one of those things, we'll soon move on from it, they'll sweep it under the carpet.
But kudos to Scott Iguma for fighting the good fight and being the voice of so many people that would have given up and said, you know what, this is Nigeria, this sort of things happen. And kudos to also the members of the House of Representatives for taking this petition and this public interest case up. We look forward to hearing the last of it.
All right. But let's take a look at Scott Iguma speaking, and after that, we should be wrapping up Wake Up Conversations.
To the general public, the National House of Assembly, House of Representatives, has now summoned the EFCC as regards the 130 petitions that are submitted to them against PWAN. So the National House of Assembly, House of Representatives have summoned the EFCC chairman, Mr. Oluwala Kayode, for August 20th, Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. And that's the day after tomorrow. Now, this is the petition that was written against the EFCC by the House of Representatives. And I read, petition on the alleged collusion, negligence, and failure of the EFCC to investigate multiple fraud petitions against Property World Africa Network, PWAN, Real Estate Company, while a whistleblower is criminally targeted and reprimanded. So this is the petition that the House of Reps submitted against EFCC. And these are their concerns. It says, our concern, number one, what is the status of the 130 plus petition submitted to the EFCC against PWAN? Number two, why has the EFCC not updated the public or taken visible steps towards investigation and prosecution? Number three, is there an undisclosed interest between EFCC officials and PWAN representative that is obstructing justice? And number four, why has the whistleblower acting under civic duty been targeted and imprisoned while the alleged offenders remain unchecked? And then number five, why is the Nigerian police force acting on what appears to be a civil/commercial matter while ignoring the substance of the allegation? So this is the petition that was submitted to the House of Representatives against the EFCC. PWAN has also been summoned as well. That's if they've not arrested him. So to the unintelligent Augustine, that's the way they find me. So on the 20th of August, we will all be at the National House of Assembly to explain to the House of Representatives on this matter. On Wednesday, the 20th of August, 2025. PWAN, you've also been summoned. So if they are yet to arrest you, then you must be there. May God say, the National House of Assembly, how you've defrauded Nigerians, ripped them of their money, ruined families, ruined lives, all for your greed.
The National Assembly Committee on Public Petitions for releasing that statement.
Today is the 20th of August?
Yes.
And
Morning.
it's happening this morning. We hope to get Scott Iguma join us on the show tomorrow so we can get a follow-up as to how far this case has gone and what the deliberations are like in the House.
This is a litmus test, and I must say it here clearly. This is what we are going to know. And permit me to use the word, if Nigeria go better. This is the test. And let's watch. Because I'm going to say that when I'll say it again. If Nigeria go better, this is the litmus test. Because, yes. Because you have, I'm sure if they call out, if everybody who bought properties come out to court that day, the court will be filled up. And we're going to see if justice is for sale. Or justice.
I mean, it's really,
we have to get to this level.
And I understand Joe's concern, and it's very legitimate for making that statement that if things, because it's obvious. I mean, just look at the statement. Why is the police acting against, it's almost like the police is acting against justice.
So,
and then the EFCC, you have 120, no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no 8, 9, 10. You have over 100 cases on one particular company and individual, and you are still dragging your feet on the investigation. And SEC has also,
a government,
and that's why they're asking, do you...
has also said this is a Ponzi organization.
So in other words,
every proof
do you have any collaborations with EFCC and this P1 real estate people? What's going on? Is there a clash of
So that's a clarion call to the police, to the EFCC, and all the regulatory agencies involved in this matter. You should jump on the social media challenge that says, who dig this pit go fall inside. They have dug pits for you. You better not fall inside. The expectations are high because at the end of the day, they're not jokes. These are strong, grave allegations that impact or have impacted the quality of life of a number of Nigerians. So this definitely deserves a thorough investigation, and we expect a report in that regard. Any final thoughts? I'm thinking I should check on
final thoughts. We'll just wait when they get to the House of Reps. We'll wait to see when they come out what the results will be like. And like I think we've made our points known to everybody and to the public that our eyes are watching. So we're going to follow closely on the two stories we brought to you today. This P1 versus EFCC and Scott Iguma, and of course the Guna Chamber story as well.
Right.
Hopefully the governor would hold a state address.
Speaking about the Aguni Chamber story, we have a response on YouTube. Idris Onifade says, this is barbaric. I'm ashamed for the police PRO saying it's not a new video. And he's comfortable to say that. It is sad that our police are handicapped to arrest the perpetrators of this crime. That's what Idris Onifade says on YouTube. Remember that you can be a part of the conversations on YouTube. Drop a chat in the chat box where we go live, and we are always live. So drop a chat regarding any of the stories and we'll take your reactions.